It's time for us to talk consumer tech segment, and we're going to be looking basically at how technology can fill the gaps in children's play, kids' play. I've been joined by our head of TV production, Philip Ashon, who is also the host of Citi Trends on Citi 97.3 FM. Good morning.
Good morning.
Philip, how are you doing?
I've been better, but I'm doing pretty okay.
Yeah?
We seem to be gradually getting a bit of normalcy back into our systems, which is good and pretty bad in almost the same measure.
Yeah.
You know, when you go out there and you see people, you know, forgetting how dangerous COVID is. Sometimes
I know, right?
It's a very scary thing to do. But in that same vein, we have quite a number of children who are at home. The president spoke on Sunday about some groups of students, the final year students going back. But then there's a greater population of children, or the kids in that matter, for that matter, who are at home, who are looking for alternatives to either study or to play or whichever. For me, I just feel that playing and learning sort of go hand in hand, because it's supposed to be a fun experience. It's supposed to be a fun time when children are learning. When it becomes a chore, they tend to usually disconnect.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, whether you have a child or not, I'm sure you've seen children who are playing and how happy they are, as against being forced to learn one thing or the other.
Yeah.
You know, and so
now, you know, last week was World Play Day.
Yes,
how
exactly.
How important is it for us to focus on child play, and then therefore look at technology that will help
supports it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that playing for me is one of the best ways, you know, children can pick up anything. I mean, I look at my children, I look at children her age as well, and I notice how easily it is for them to pick up certain things by either watching a video on YouTube Kids, or probably just picking up stuff from a book that, you know, they've been provided with, or there are these VTech, you know, tools available on the market you can easily purchase. You know, that, you know, come along with rhymes and songs and things like that. And all of that animation sort of makes it interesting for the children. And what technology basically does is just facilitates. And technology has always been a facilitator, really. It just makes the learning process much easier. And so I believe that children learn a lot more through, you know, that playing, all these platforms that are made available. And I mean, these platforms can be accessed on virtually any tool, you know, that's connected to the internet. You could have a mobile device. You could have an iPad. You know, it's a mobile device as well. You could have a computer, a laptop, whichever. You could buy, you know, some of these tablets made for kids, or there are some specific, you know, children's toys that are designed to help them to learn either the alphabets or the numbers or the different types of colors or whichever tools or whichever lessons they're supposed to pick up at their age. And every age sort of has, you know, its own specific, you know, tools that are designed for them. And you will soon realize, after you've given, for example, a tablet to a child, how quickly they tend to, you know, pick up on how to unlock the device, where to find their favorite apps and things like that. And for me, it's very, very interesting because, I mean, for my daughter, for example, she will pick up my phone and she will locate where Google YouTube Kids are. And she's just 2 years old.
It's amazing.
You know, and it's incredible for me because then it just tells me just how much they enjoy the platform. If they enjoy it, they'll look for it. When they look for it, they'll engage with it. What parents, I guess, need to do is to understand how to manage their access, you know, because you need to create that balance. I always say there's nothing compared to children running around in the sand, rolling around in the sand, playing with their friends, understanding how to connect with their friends. There's nothing that can be compared to that. But we find ourselves in a situation where a lot of that has been limited. You know, even when you have a neighbor right next door, sometimes it's, you know, you have to be a little careful about how far you allow your kids to go in terms of engaging with them. So they are losing something, you know, in terms of the social interaction and the social connection from that side. But then what they are probably losing there, they can find somewhere else. And I believe that's where technology comes in, whereby you allow the children to have interactions that they probably will have on a face-to-face on a different platform. So, for example, a child goes to creche or goes to school, the main thing is that they interact with their friends in class, they interact with the teacher in class as well. So if you want to create a platform, or if you want to create a certain space for the children to interact with their teachers, what's the best way to do that? In some schools, some teachers will record the videos and then, basically interact or speak to the children. It might not be face-to-face, it might not be as physical as you would want it to be. But, we have to obviously, because of the times, limit the sort of face-to-face and physical interaction. So technology just enables it. What I think is most important is that the people who are behind the creation of the platform, the people who are using the platform, must be very mindful about who they are sending the messages to. If you are creating a platform for students in class 5, for example, you have to understand the sort of language that's going to be used. You have to understand the sort of videos that they will understand. You have to understand the sort of material that you make available for them to interact with. And I think that all of this is very, very important. But one of my guests on Citi Trends, Margaret Dawson, basically puts out these very important tools almost on a daily basis. Some of them are, DIY, do it yourself sort of things. So, and then some of them are also websites and e-learning tools. And I believe that, platforms like that, locally, this is someone in Ghana, curating all of this content on a daily basis, making it available. And you can Google her, Margaret Dawson, you can Google her and find her blog, where she constantly and every day puts out material. She gives you a good description of what is available on some of these platforms. And it's great that someone like that, because she's an educator as well, so she understands what sort of content is appropriate for which sort of age group, and how, and she basically writes it out, what it basically means, how children can interact with it, how it can help them grow, and things like that. And so when you visit the blog, it's really, really great. There are 2 websites that I found very interesting. Over the last couple of 2 weeks, when I was, looking through her platform, one of them happens to wideopenschool.org. Wideopenschool.org, and that is the website on our screens there. Wideopenschool.org. I mean, for parents and for teachers and for schools, I believe that a platform like this is classic if you want to basically set up something for the students or for your children. Now, as you can see there, it says schools are closed, but then minds are wide open. And it gives you an option to choose. Are you an educator, or, we're a family? So let's say, you're at home, we're a family. So we click on we're a family. Now, it gives you the grades that are available on the website in terms of content. So you have preschool to grade 5, and you have grade 6 to grade 12. This is obviously an American sort of grading system. But then you would know how it applies to you, if your children are in school. So let's say, for my child, she is in preschool. So we go and click on preschool. And when you click on preschool, what happens is that it gives you all the tools available on the website that are catered for children in preschool. So as you can see there, we have everything from math to science to social studies, emotional well-being. People sometimes forget how important all of this is. They are home, they don't know why they are at home. Emotional well-being, get moving, so activities for them to do, because it's not just about sitting there reading a book all day. Get moving. They have arts, music, and DIY, so all of that. Great balance for the child. Science, technology, electronics, mathematics, and now they say art, so they say STEAM instead of STEM. There's internet access and devices. There's learning differences. If you have any virtual field trips, you can be in the comfort of your home and take a virtual field trip to France, to anywhere in the world. Basically interact with other parts of the world, which you typically wouldn't have been able to do if you're sitting in a classroom. If you're sitting in a classroom with a blackboard, I wonder how the teacher is going to draw Paris for you to understand how Paris works and things. But then with all of this, with your virtual field trips, you're able to go to all these places. You have all these pictures, interactive maps, and things like that to basically work with. One of the most interesting things, and if we could scroll up in just a second, you will see a daily schedule Now you see learning at home, you see watch now, you see digital citizenship, but you see daily schedule. Now let's click on daily schedule. I just want to explore something with you. Now you see here, you have activities for the morning, and then you have activities for the rest of the day as well. Midday, activities for midday. And then you see there preschool, K2, K5.
Yes.
You have activities for the morning, you have activities for midday, and then you have activities for the afternoon as well. And at least what then happens is it would mean a bit of work on the part of the parent. And there you see activities for evening as well. But then what this means is that the parent is put in a position where you're basically planning the schedule for your child. So if, for example, you institute a sort of program at home where at 7 a.m. or at 8 a.m., you start with the morning class. So if you can scroll up to the morning session, you determine what you're going to do in the morning. So this morning, are we going to do emotional well-being? Are we going to do science? Or are we going to do math? You can schedule all of that and move the pieces around. Midday, what are we going to do? Afternoon, what are we going to do? And you can have that sort of structured system at home so that you give your children some time to run around and draw on the walls and do whatever that children would typically do. But then you have a structured time during the day when the children have access to these virtual tools where they can learn. You can see that there are a lot of videos. There's a lot of reading material as well. I would advise that parents who want to use this platform should actually take the time to go through the full platform. If you're, for example, scheduling 2 lessons in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening, I would suggest that you click on it, read it, understand it, so it's easier for you to communicate it to your child. If you have a caregiver at home, walk them through it, let them understand the platform. So together as a family, everybody knows, okay, so today we know you're doing math, tomorrow we know you're doing science, the next day we know you're doing something else. And I think that what will happen is you will get a lot of material that you typically, and some of these material, some of the schools don't even have it. Some of the schools don't actually have some of this material. And when you go back to the homepage, you'll get to see the institutions who are contributing to all of this information. There's Amplify, there's Time for Kids, there's YouTube, with YouTube Kids and everything. There's Comcast. These are global giants. There's Zoom, there's Google, all these international companies. Khan Academy is one of the biggest platforms when it comes to scholarly material or training material for children. All these platforms have come together to offer their services for this. And all this material is put together by educators. So educators who are sometimes also parents as well. So you have a very, very good blend. Now, I didn't want us to get into the educator bit, but when you go into the educator section, if you're an educator, if you're a teacher, and you want to put together a learning plan, for example, that is the perfect place to do it. You get to see what sort of lessons are available. If you want to organize an e-school or a virtual school, some of the schools in the country are currently doing it. This is a great place to get some of the best resources to pass on to the kids. Now, the second platform that I wanted us to talk about is elearningforkids.org. Elearningforkids.org. It works and functions almost the same as Wide Open School. I mean, this is just basically an alternative. This platform is also free. The one thing that I found out, you can just donate if it's a worthwhile platform to use. But everything on this platform is free. You can see there's a section for parents and teachers, there's a section for kids, and then also if you want to partner with the program, there's a section for you. Their vision is to be the source for childhood learning on the internet, available from anywhere without any charge. And I mean, you see, we do like the idea of free, but these are materials that are available for free. All it needs is that you tap into it. If you have the funding and if you have the means, you can donate to make their work much easier. But then all of this is available. If you could scroll down, you get to see, and right there you can see you can donate there. So let's scroll up and then just go and just get a glimpse. So let's say we are kids. You have some kids at home. Basically, what does it take for you to go through it? So you can see there all the lessons that are available there. We have everything from so the categories are at the top. We have math, science, environmental skills, computer skills, health, language, arts, life skills. We have all these categories there. So depending on the one that you want, you can basically choose. What do you think would you go with?
Let's go for okay, so what are we seeing down here?
So that's the breakdown.
Okay.
You know, when you go
so
to
that's
all,
the breakdown under all.
Yes, when you go to all, you have all the lessons there.
Let's do environmental skills.
Okay, so let's go to environmental skills.
Yeah.
So we click on environmental skills, and you can see your grade. You know, you can see your grade there right underneath the categories.
So we have the K.
So you have the K, you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and
so let's
all
do
of that.
2.
So let's say we go to 2. So let's go to 2. So it's curated for 2. So this is the lesson that's available for under environmental skills for grade 2. Global warming for grade 2. And you click on the lesson begins. And then you're basically good to go. So depending on the sort of lessons you want to put across for your kids, these are some of the things that are available. It's great, learning for yourself, because I think you'll also need to go through it to be abreast with it, make sure it is something that you want your children to also engage in. But then, aside that, these are just free. It's free, it's fun, it's digitized. You can get a tablet, have them explore it themselves, or you can have a PC at home, whether it's a desktop or a laptop at home, where you have designated times for the kids to come over and then do their work. Zoom currently, a lot of schools are doing Zoom lessons, for example, which is great. But then what if the school is not providing it? Are you just going to sit, cross your arms and, throw your hands in the air? No. These platforms are available. At least you have a bit of structure that you can put to
I think that's my favorite
education.
part of the whole thing. The fact that it creates structure even for the children.
Right. Right.
And then the time of engagement between parent and child is increased massively during this period.
And the thing, though, is parents need to understand that they need to be very involved in the process. It's not something that you sit back and then, just leave it for the kids like YouTube Kids, where you just press play on one video and everything else plays. You have to take active part in the educational process, because you are basically tickling their curiosity, you're causing them to think outside the box, and it's a very interesting learning experience for the parents as well. It's not just about putting the platform in front of them, but it's a learning experience for yourself. You will be surprised at how much you can learn from just these 2 websites. And trust me, I think today is the 54th article or blog post by Margaret. So you can just imagine a number of resources. There are some on languages, there are some for science students.
Wow.
It is so much, and it's a great place to find so much information. But then for me, these 2 platforms that we talked about today are of key interest, just because of especially the scheduling part, where you can have some structure to the training of your children, and the fact that these platforms are available free and you are allowed to interact with it any way you choose.
Just quickly comment on parents who are averse to technology, because I find that that's a very these days maybe it's a lot less, but when my daughter who's 12 now, when she was 2, I remember her learning how to stop and start VLC on my laptop, and watching VeggieTales and all these interesting. But it was this whole thing where she would spoil the laptop. She would spoil the laptop. I'm like, no, chill. It's my laptop. I bought it. It's okay if she spoils it. She's my daughter. It's allowed.
It's interesting. An educator told me one time that when children take crayons and scribble on the wall, don't scold them.
Okay.
It's a learning process for them. Because really, at the end of the day, what are they going to write on? They're going to write on a surface.
Yes.
At that time, the wall seems like the best surface for them. I mean, you might provide them with a piece of paper, they might write on it. Yesterday, I went home, I found scribbles on the seat in the hall. I found scribbles on my Bluetooth speaker. But I know that it is a way by which they are expressing. yes, you shouldn't, in your case, for example, don't put, if you know the laptop, for example, is pricey and you don't want to spend some more money, just make sure you put it in a place where they can't have access to it. But by all means, provide them a platform for them to explore the world around them, to express themselves, whether it is writing on a wall, whether it's writing on the sofa, whatever it is. Understand that for them, it's a process by which they are learning. And if you don't give them that space for them to learn, they will have to find it somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, then they will shut down.
All right.
And so it's important for them to be allowed to explore.
Thank you very much to you, Philip Ashon, who is the host of Citi Trends on Citi 97.3 and also the head of TV production here at Citi TV.
Hi, I hope you enjoyed the show. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Join us for breakfast daily, only on Citi TV.